Good day everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at a little game called Easy Delivery Co. or Easy Delivery Company, I suppose. It is a relaxing delivery game and nothing else. If there was a face cam, I would be looking directly into it when I said that. Developed by Sam C. So individual developer with help from a few others, you know, like friends for playtesting and someone for the music, you know, so small dev team for this one. Published by Oro Interactive. Now they've published a few other things, mainly like horror stuff, but this one a little bit different. Now no previous games that I could see from Sam C. So potential first title here. Released on the 18th, so today, as of the recording of this video. I've played it for about 3 hours or so, and it is... Honestly, I'm just going to come out and tell you right away, I love this game. So far. It is vibey as all hell, super relaxing. I love the look of the game. I love how it just feels to play. Everything about it. So... But we'll get into more of that once we get into the actual gameplay here. First, I just want to go through the options. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot to talk to here, because normally when you have these rather simpler, graphically simpler games, not to say that this is, you know, a bad-looking game by any means. That's more so aesthetic and stuff, but, you know, it's not, you know, there's no need for a texture slider here, you know, so there's not going to be a ton to look at in here. But basically, you got your like volume stuff, your master, your SFX, your music, all this sort of stuff. Graphics, you've just got like your resolution, full screen. There's also the CRT effect. If you you know, you can tweak that. Sort of gives this impression of like a bent screen. Now, honestly, the resolution, you could kind of play with this whatever you want, because the black bars honestly just give it more of that effect, especially with the CRT on there. Me personally, I just wanted it on my full 32-inch screen because this game is immersive as all hell for me, so I'm loving it on the big screen. Control steering. I haven't actually tweaked around with this. I think it's like how responsive your steering is, but I haven't found any need to change that at all. And then you can change the confirm and back buttons to A and B, or swap that to B and A to be a bit more like Nintendo consoles, or how Sony consoles are in Japan. But yeah, so not a lot to talk about in the settings there. And you've also got some like credits and controls. There are not rebindable, so you better like what they are, because you can't change them. But I haven't found any need to change them. They're pretty good as far as I'm concerned, to be honest. And obviously you're seeing this like very nice stylized setting screen as well. It's like using a little terminal, because the sort of premise here is that you have just started working for Easy Delivery Company, or Easy Company, who is a delivery company. And all your sort of interaction with them is done through like emails and stuff like that, so that's where that sort of comes into play. Now, let's jump into the game proper. File 1, you'll see here I'm on day 5, done 17 deliveries, this is how much money I have, so hit OK, and we'll hop right on in. And I'll tell you a little bit about why I absolutely adore this game so far. So this is it. PS1 style graphics. It's got that like, got those janky 3D polygons. I am personally a big fan of this look. Now, obviously, this isn't like direct one-to-one what a PS1 game would look like. It's obviously just stylized in that fashion. Because the PS1 early 3D, you know, didn't look the best. Whereas the stuff on display here, I think it looks really, really nice. So this is your little truck. This is what you're going to be doing your deliveries in. You can go into third or first person, and the first thing I gotta say, I love driving this thing. It's what you're going to be doing 99% of the time, so it better feel good to do, and it really, really does. It's just got this lovely bit of weight, a lovely bit of feedback. Like, when you look at the truck, like, sort of driving around, and you're moving, when you're moving, like, the analog stick, by the way, this is very much a controller game. You can play it with mouse and keyboard, but I would definitely recommend controller. But yeah, the truck just feels so weighty to actually move around. It's an absolute dream to actually move, you know? Especially in first person. Just feels so good to drive, and whenever you're driving around like this, it's just... This is when the vibes hit the absolute highest. And of course, when you're driving around, you can flick on the radio stations and have a bit of music playing while you're zooming about the place. Now, there's no real time limit to anything you do, so you can really just relax and sort of go at your own pace. But there are a few things sort of incentivizing you to keep up a certain level of speed. Those mainly being the fuel on the left, and to the left of it again, if I had any, there would be like a little energy bar. Now that's for whenever you're out of the truck, like so, where we get our very Animal Crossing looking character. Love the radio coming through like the closed doors again, just adds to it. You also notice that the surrounding of the screen there got very frosty, and that's because the cold comes into this big time. We are driving around in a snowy, mountainous sort of region, and the cold plays a big part in certain aspects of the game. And whenever you're low on energy, the cold will affect you pretty hard. But basically, to keep your energy up, you're going to need stuff like coffee, energy drinks. To keep your fuel up, you're going to need money, or else your truck's going to run out. And that's going to make things slightly a bit more awkward for you. So you want to be doing deliveries to keep those from running out, because then your life gets a wee bit more tricky. Now, as far as I can tell, there are no major drawbacks. It's not like you run out of energy and your character dies, or anything like that, or you run out of fuel and your truck stops and it's like, well, unlucky, go again. When you run out of energy, it's just you can't move as fast when you're outside of the truck, and the cold affects you quicker. Now, I haven't found this to be a major issue when you're just doing regular deliveries, but you may be doing some stuff that isn't deliveries, and then it can really start to affect you. As well as the truck running out of fuel. Now, I haven't confirmed this for the full release, but there was a demo for this, which I did play, and I did test what happens when the truck runs out of fuel, and I didn't really notice a whole lot, to be honest. I think maybe it lowered the top speed, or maybe the acceleration rate of the truck, potentially. But if it did, it was very minor. But I haven't seen what that's like yet in this, so I'm not 100% sure. But this is not a game that is designed to be testing you, really. It wants to deliver a certain experience, a certain vibe, a certain mindset. And I think it does that excellently. If this is your sort of thing, it's just fantastic. You know, you can just put it on, sit back, do some deliveries. There is a story. So far, I haven't really gone too far into it. In fact, I'll show you the sort of main screen in here, which has a few more things going on. So in your top left, you've got your jobs. So you open that, and you can do local jobs, which are just on the map you're on, or you can do intercity, which are cross-map. Now, I'm actually noticing, here's actually a drawback of not having enough fuel. You can't take certain jobs, because it goes, you don't have the fuel for that. So there's a potential drawback there for you. So it's limiting my money-making potential right there. But yeah, local job, you can be like, this one's going from here to here, and it's going to give me this amount, and the cargo weighs this much, you know, so you can just be like, that one, and it'll show you, here's where you pick it up from, and somewhere up here is where we're going to drop it off to. That's not too bad. It seems quite far, but the maps aren't, like, absolutely huge. So yeah, we'll accept that one, so that's back at where I just came from. Probably should have selected one that was further on ahead, but hey. Now the deliveries themselves, they're also just not, you know, there's nothing too high stake going on there. Even if you were to topple over your truck or anything like that, and your package like falls out the back, you don't really get penalized. You just don't get any sort of bonus. So you'll get a tip if you can bring the package to the delivery without it ever having fallen out entirely. But if it does ever fall out entirely, it just sort of spawns next to your car, and then you can put it back in the back of the truck bed, and then carry on your way. But yeah, I said I would show you the rest of this menu, and then I sort of kept driving there. That's just all I want to do in this game. I just want to drive. But yeah, so you've got goals. This is kind of your story. There's a character who is kind of progressing things for you. Or at least you're helping them. You don't really know why you're helping them. You don't really know what their goal is. What's going on. What's up. Could be anything. Literally no idea. Could be anything. But it's interesting enough that I am always wanting to see what's happening next. So my current goal is that I need to get ice chains for my tires, so I can drive on ice and not lose traction. That's going to cost me $300. So I need to do jobs to get $300. To do that, I need to get more money so I can put fuel in the tank so that I can accept those bigger jobs, and you sort of see where the gameplay cycle is starting to come in. You will also get side goals as well. This one is to purchase a fishing rod, as I haven't gotten this far yet to get this, and this wasn't in the demo, so the game has fishing in it. I don't know what that's like, but hey, it's in there. One of the side goals I had before was to get a cooking pot, which allows me to make certain things on the go, and I don't need to go into stores to buy them. Because the stores are quite separated on these maps. So far there's 3 maps that I have found, or 3 sort of areas to do deliveries in. And they have different stores all over the place, so you might go into one map and be like, oh, the store that sells this thing is on that end, you know. You really do become familiar with these areas, these towns, these little villages, all these stores. You become familiar with them. I'd say after enough time spent in this game, you could almost pick a job and almost entirely navigate it without needing to look at the map, you know? And that's a very vibey existence in this game. I've done it a couple of times in some few places I'm familiar with in the demo. Now, you've also got the mail. This is kind of your tutorial. So as you encounter new concepts in the game, you'll probably get an email from your Easy Company sort of company email, and it'll be like, so this is the first one you get. It just says, you know, congrats, you're now an Easy Co driver, you know, love to have you. Generic text here, you know, even when you do this, I'll try to show you on here. I think it's weather. Yeah, so you can see weather. It says we've observed. You may have observed the beautiful weather and landscapes of insert profit sector. You know, like that's the sort of thing you're dealing with. Yeah, you've also got like a little photo mode. Now the photo mode's kind of cool in this game because it just kind of freezes the camera in spot. You can still look around, but you still have full control over your character, so you can, you know, sort of position yourself in a little camera way that way, which I think is a pretty funny way to do the photo mode. But yeah, you can hear we got the nice smooth tunes on as we're going up to get our delivery here. You can hold L1 and it'll sort of show you where you're at, or sorry, not where you're at. You don't actually appear on the map at all. You have to just completely infer where you are based on landmarks and stuff. So where is the prawn shop? Not the pawn shop, the prawn shop, which I believe is this one right here. This is where our pickup is. So I'm low energy, so I'm moving kind of slow, and the cold will get me quick, so I need to get on in here. And then once we're in, we can talk to our person. Most of the characters are pretty strange. There's something going on with them. You know, they're a little bit eccentric, or they're just a little bit strange, yeah. But different stores have different like items in them, and you can save up your money. That one has like a mystery bag that I haven't purchased yet, because you absolutely can just keep doing jobs over and over again if you wish, and gain as much money as, well, you really want to, if you want. But I'm more of a, okay, the next goal is to get this amount of money, I will get this amount of money, and then I will, you know, go get that thing, spend it all, you know, now I have no money again. Alright, next goal needs this amount of money, okay, go do jobs to get that amount of money. That is generally how I do it. So I need to go to Smalton. The signs do a really good job of pointing you in the direction, so you don't really need to be opening the map all the time. Although, if you're anything like myself, when it comes to games that have a map, especially ones that you're going somewhere very specific, I do tend to find myself like opening maps all the time, but I need to get out of that habit and just sort of let myself be directed by the in-game directions, because that sort of thing is way nicer. I think the Mafia series has really nailed that sort of thing, where they have like these almost like temporary like street signs that appear, like what direction you need to turn and stuff like that whenever you have like a marker put down. Really, really cool stuff. But this game does it really well too, where you just get these lovely signs like this, and as you're approaching them, it sort of fills in slowly. It kind of, almost to me, it feels like it's trying to simulate the idea of, you know, if you were driving up to a sign in this sort of weather or this sort of experience, then, you know, you'd be taking your second, you'd be squinting your eyes, looking at it, being like, oh, what does that say? You know, as you get closer, and then, you know, there it is, now you're seeing it. Yeah, as we approach our destination, it'll sort of let us know that, you know, we're kind of close. And, yeah, we should be nearly here, and there it is. Once you're within about 50 meters or so, you get like a little icon just to be like, hey, it's over here. And so we pull on up, open the truck bed, take the item, and we just slap it down right there. And then we get our money, and because it didn't tilt out of the truck at any time, we get a little bonus. So now I'm up to $51. So I could go get some fuel with that, I could go get some energy drinks with that, I could save it and go do another job, although energy's low and fuel is getting a little bit low, so I'd probably be wanting to get some fuel. Yeah, there's also like other little upgrades I've been doing to the truck over time. Now they have all been part of this like sort of goal thing. I don't think there's been anything that I could buy personally for my own sort of like, yeah, I just want to buy that, you know. So far everything has been a part of the goal that I need to do to help this character achieve whatever end it is they're trying to achieve. Because there's you know, there's something going on. Something. Yeah, it's just an incredible little game. I dig this art style, this aesthetic, this vibe. I like it a lot. And it's a great game, honestly. It's a fantastic game if you just want to like do some deliveries and maybe slap a podcast on in the background. It almost seems too fitting, you know, to almost do it with like trucking in mind. But the radio stations are really good as well. There are radio stations sort of dotted around the different maps or the different like towns and stuff, and you can go and activate them, and then you'll gain access to a new radio station which has new original music in it. So I have 3 currently. So you have this like FM 101.7 that's got this sort of music in it, and you know, I can switch back on over to this one. It's got a little bit more lively, kind of like what we were listening to earlier. There's also Easy News, which is just sort of a muffled kind of news broadcast if you want that kind of thing going for you. Lovely train going overhead there, you know, just adds to the vibes. There's also just like other little things, like you'll purchase like little useful tools to help your way out through certain areas. So like I tried to get to one of the radio stations and it had like a bunch of logs blocking it, so I had to go buy a lighter so I could burn the logs, you know, to get past, and then that's how that sort of worked out. You know, now I have a lighter and we can use that maybe for some other things, or maybe I'll need to buy a shovel to clear like a big snow avalanche that happened somewhere. That was one of the things that happened in the demo. But I haven't seen it yet in the main game, so I did say that it would be a little bit different, so there is that. But yeah, absolutely incredible game. There's not a huge amount to say here. It's fantastic. I think honestly, if you'll probably know if this sort of game is for you based on what you've seen here already. So this one is pretty much only out on Steam, as far as I'm aware, and you can pick it up for $10.99 or $12.99. However, it is on a 25% off sale until October 2nd to sort of celebrate, you know, the sort of release and stuff like that. But like I said, there is also a demo, so give the demo a go and see what you think. I think this is well worth getting. It's just right up my alley, personally. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I think I'm going to get back to doing a few deliveries. So thank you for watching, and I shall catch you guys on the next one. Goodbye.